This time on Pole House Bike Pot Weekend Getaways, we fix a family favorite stew. Stay tuned.
I think they're done, hon.
Well,
Welcome back to our front porch. Well,
Well-
actually, the front yard.
we were supposed to go somewhere camping, and I'll show you a video
Yeah.
about, we did our video, a week or so before we said we were going to be going this weekend, and
Camping.
we should have not said, and Angel should have not said nothing, because
Jinxed it.
I guess, every Wednesday and Thursday, and for a whole month of February, bad weather
Yeah.
started, and I tell you, the snow isn't what scares us away. Although
Well,
we
it's-
were going
yeah.
a distance,
Yeah.
but it was going to be 8 degrees. And
Friday
I'll tell you,
night.
Friday night, and the fire don't even feel good at 8 degrees.
And it was possibly still icy roads
yeah.
during Friday afternoon, because that's when we're going to leave to go camping.
So
yep.
we've had a request, and we were going to do it when we went camping, but we're going to do it in our front yard.
Because
this
by the time if we don't, it'll be spring, and we won't be going to be doing stew.
we're doing stew, and it's kind of an adaptation from a friend of ours, Jeff,
Yeah.
who did a garlic studded pot roast.
Yes.
It's a not garlic studded, but it's a garlic stew, and it's so wonderful. It's got
Yeah.
balsamic vinegar in it, and it's just
Really
the meat's
good.
so tender, it's yummy.
Yeah, well, Barbara, thanks for the comment. You said you wanted to try to do a different kind of stew, and you haven't had much luck doing stew in your Dutch oven. So we're going to show you this recipe, and we hope you like it. And we're going to go ahead here in a second, get started. But I think we're going to show you first how we did the...
Oh yeah.
Prep of the
the
meats.
first thing you have to
Yeah.
do is you have to marinate the meat. And this is you don't throw the marinade away, which I'll show you later. But this is how we mixed up the marinade and cut up the meat.
Yep, we did yesterday. So
Yep.
we'll be right back and get it cooking.
Oh. We're out on our front porch. The smoke is getting me. We're going to try to sear the meat. Now this recipe is good not just for beef, which is what we're using today, but it's also good for pork and venison.
I think the original recipe, wasn't it, for the pot roast
It
was
was
the pork roast?
Yeah. So, I'm not draining this from the marinade.
Just pulling it out and leaving what little bit we don't
Yeah.
need in there, right? For
For
later
right
on.
now.
Yeah.
You do not get rid of your marinade. Half your flavors in this marinade. Oh, that's smoke.
Crazy. 2 days ago it was snowing and blowing, and
Oh,
now we're
yeah.
in short sleeves. 60 degrees.
And they were canceling school all over town. So, oh, if we had smell-o-vision. All right, we're just gonna let that sear for a few minutes, and we'll be right back. Well, I tell you what, I think I'm gonna need a hat here for too long. Now that the meat is seared, not done, it's still tougher than shoe leather, we're gonna put some more ingredients in, like the rest of this marinade. Actually, let me just do it. Now, if you're doing chicken and you want to do the marinade, I would suggest highly that you cook the marinade. But since this is beef, we're not going to worry about
Well,
it.
it's going to cook a long time
Oh,
before
yeah.
yeah.
And then we did call this garlic studded stew. And it's going to seem like an awful lot of garlic. Looky there. And a little bit more. That'll be about it.
Several
Now,
tablespoons of garlic on it.
huh?
Several tablespoons.
Well, I'd say 3. You do it to taste, whatever you like. Now, we're going to let this cook on for a little bit before we add any more
What
liquid.
kind of meat are we using?
We're using beef. We already talked about that.
We didn't say what kind, though.
It's a rump roast,
Rump
isn't
roast,
it?
yep. Cut up a rump roast. And you can use rump roast, chuck roast, stew meat, whatever. And if it was pork, I think we use like pork loin if you wanted, or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
you like.
You could use it a bone out, preferably, instead of bone
Yeah, I
in.
don't think you need the extra fat from a Boston butt or something.
No.
I think a loin would be better.
So, well, we're going to let that cook for a while. We'll be back. And I'm going to get a hat.
Yeah, he's a woman.
Look at that. Okay, I'm going to give this a quick stir. Ooh, it's hot. And then I'm going to add 4 cups of beef stock.
And we used water mixed with better than bouillon beef paste or whatever they call it, right?
Yes.
So whatever kind of beef stock you want to use.
And now we're going to let it come up to temp again, and then we'll stir it and raise it up and just let it cook all afternoon. So this recipe is not a quick recipe. It's one you have to have lots of time. You're going to sit by the fire all day.
That's why we were planning on originally
Yes.
doing this camping this weekend, because it's,
We were originally going to do it Sunday.
yeah, out by the campfire. So we'll be back. Just let her cook. Okay. Angel says it's my turn to help out.
Now, I forgot an ingredient. Actually, I didn't. Forget it. Y'all know I don't like onion, and I don't like onion in this. So, we're hiding the onion from me and Leslie.
We're doing some dry minced onion.
That should do it.
Probably about, what, tablespoon of dry minced?
Table to a
Yes.
quarter of a cup, one of the two.
And next ingredient, because they're going to take longer to cook than the potatoes, which will go in here in a little while, we're going to add our diced up carrots.
Looky there, we're looking like stew.
Get in there. Give it a little stir, lid back on. We've been cooking now about a good, hour and a half or so.
Yeah, pretty close to it. My mom's gonna come and eat. So,
Lid back on, put the lid back on. Let it
this
keep
is
cooking.
this is a good recipe to do just to sit out and enjoy the weather.
Yeah, but sun was warm. Now the little cloud came over. Now it's a little cool, but I guess that's time of this year. So that's all right. Still nice out here. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, the potatoes are chopped up thanks to Angel. She peeled them and put them up in bite-sized pieces. And the carrots have been cooking for close to an hour.
Yeah, pretty close. I think we need to lower that though, because we're putting something cold in there.
Yeah, you're right. So let me take. I'm gonna go ahead and take the whole thing down for just a second, and get this off.
One thing about it is you don't need a whole lot of fire, and once you see it smoking out the side of your Dutch oven, you know it's hot enough.
Oh yeah.
So it's been cooking for what? About 2.5 hours?
Yep. Total. That's right.
Or 3 hours?
2.5. Alrighty.
Oh, that looks yummy.
So far so good. Okay.
Now we've got to dump the water off of these taters.
You're gonna get ready to stir. And
I'll stir. You ought to dump the water off them taters, son.
Well, I'll probably end up, if I dump it off, I'll probably end up wearing.
Prevailing dadgum winds.
I'll just drip dry most of them.
Now, you're going to notice that I didn't add any salt to this. It's salty enough.
Well, we hope it is. If not, we can always add some because we
Well,
had that.
you know what my theory is, honey. You can always add salt.
Yeah.
You can't ever take it away.
Because you're, ooh, here comes more prevailing winds. Let me move it over here. That beef stock has got quite a bit of salt in it. So.
And not only that, the balsamic vinegar and
That's right.
Worcestershire,
in the marinade.
Shire.
So we're not gonna. Now the potatoes will soak up a lot of salt, so we may have to add some, but
But
we
we'll
can
add
always,
it individually.
Yeah, we can always add. Yep. Now we might have to add, if we get potatoes in and they'll cook a little bit, we might have to add a little bit more liquid. You think, Angel?
Maybe just a
Yeah.
smidge, not a whole lot.
Some more beef stock or
Now,
something. All right, that's it.
The recipe calls for. Oh, look at that meat, honey! It's falling apart.
All right.
The recipe calls towards the end of the cooking you to put a slurry in there.
Uh-huh.
We don't
What
like.
is a slurry?
The slurry is. It could either be one of two things. It could either be cornstarch and water,
Uh-huh.
which is all right. I mean, if you've got somebody that needs to be gluten-free, the cornstarch is gluten-free. What this calls for is a slurry of flour. And when you put it in there, it kind of tastes like paste.
Yeah, the flour
Even
water.
when you season it and put it in there, it still tastes like paste. So we have found it doesn't make it real smooth, but we like it just as well if you put instant mashed taters in there before you make them mashed taters.
And you got unflavored mashed
Yeah.
potatoes, so it doesn't flavor it, right?
The taters
Yeah.
are already in there, so that's what we're going to use as our
We'll let the
slurry.
potatoes cook a little bit first,
Yeah.
don't get
Oh,
them
yeah,
about
long
done,
time.
and then the slurry can just go at it, or whatever you're going to add can go at the end, right?
Well, this smoke is getting us, so we're
okay,
going to...
let the potatoes cook, and
Yep.
we'll be back.
Bye. Okay, I guess it's time to test it, isn't it, honey?
It's time.
See if them taters are done. Don't need that
We
on
put
there.
them in there about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, pretty close. All right, let me taste Test it, not taste it.
Best way to
Taste it
test if they're fork tender is to use a fork.
Mom wave. That's my mama. I'm done.
They're done.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now if you notice, stir a little bit, Angel. It is
Ugh.
not a
Soupy.
lot of liquid, but the liquid's pretty thin. So, like we talked here a little bit ago, we can use a water
Instant mashed
flour
taters.
slurry. In this case, we're using instant mashed potatoes.
We don't like the flavor of that pasty stuff, so.
And it works okay, but you can do, and you can use cornstarch and make a slurry out of cornstarch if you were wanting to be gluten-free, right?
But Aunt Suzanne, this is gluten-free too.
Yep.
No
So,
gluten in this at all.
Doing about, what, a half a cup of instant
And we'll
potatoes?
see if that makes it thick enough.
Hopefully it will. If
If
not, you
it
can always add
doesn't,
more.
we'll just keep adding until it's thick,
And
thickness you
yeah, and
want
these
it.
are just unflavored potato buds, so they don't change the flavor. They just
And there's
thicken
no
the sauce.
salt in them, so we're cooking this for my mama, who's not supposed to have a whole lot of salt. And you should know pretty quickly if it's thick enough. What do you think, honey?
It's getting pretty close. Give it a stir a few minutes, and then we'll know.
What are we going to use to serve this out of, dear?
We'll have to go get some bowls here in a minute. What do you think? Give our final stir. We're looking about right.
No, I think it needs a little more.
Far off.
Well, we'll let it cook a
Let
minute.
it cook for just a few minutes.
Just let it sit there and simmer.
All right.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. Well, now I guess I get a taste test it. I'm gonna get one of these Campbell soup cups over here.
Yeah, it's a lot easier eating out of a cup outside than in a regular old bowl, isn't it?
Yep.
Something to
Oh, it's
handle.
awful meaty. I like it.
Nice and thick.
Uh-huh. Thick enough.
Good.
The only thing bad about this, dear, is it's gonna be hot. You know, it's made in a Dutch oven, so it makes it like scalding hot. Just wait.
What's the matter, Joey? You want something too? Joey doesn't get people's food. Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think it's time to dig in.
Yep, I do too. You gonna come taste it?
I'm coming to taste it.
I guess I'll share my spoon with you.
Well, we always do anyway. It's okay. Gotta get some of that meat.
That meat's
potato.
tenders I'll get out.
Hot.
Needs a little bit of salt, but it's easier to add salt than it is to take it out. So,
All right, so Barbara, we hope you like this recipe for you to try. We think it's pretty good.
yeah, we do too. And you could add like peas or green beans or whatever vegetables you want in there. It's just
Yeah.
we know that we've got somebody that won't eat green beans or peas. So,
Yeah, you can change it up and add whatever,
Yeah.
all kinds of different vegetables to it.
so if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. That's a like. Hit the subscribe button and share us on Facebook
Yeah.
or Instagram. And thank you very much for watching.
And we'll see you next week.